cut this shit.
Recording in progress.
Got a bit of natural light on my cheek.
Oh, yeah, we do.
How you with the setup? Is this good?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Basically, only like incremental like differences each time as well. So,
Yeah.
Is this good? Is this good?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Every time we just improve that a little bit more.
One would hope. One would hope.
Yeah, it would suck to. Oh, we got red wine. This is a first.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had red wine.
Maybe we've just been so either so into the pod or so drunk, and one of them that we didn't know.
But yeah.
Ooh, you taboo you. Cheers, me motherfucker.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The allergy medicine like started dribbling down my throat.
Yeah, just need whatever it is. This could be soju.
Yeah,
you'd be straight in there.
I need something down my throat.
Ooh.
I have been listen to me. I have been oppressed. Fucking hay fever.
Oh, dude, tell me about it.
Sucks so bad.
I feel you. I feel like I'm not getting. I feel like I'm not as oppressed by hay fever.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm internalizing my oppression.
Yeah. You're like, it's not that bad. You wake up every morning like.
I roll around in the fields doing bear crawls and shit to try and look attractive, and for like I get fucking like sort of swelling and like little. You get like these things here.
Yeah.
They're not from animals.
Right.
I get these. For the listener, give you a little description. It looks like an ant bite or like a small spider bite.
Right.
But it's just from being in hay, just from being like in pollen or whatever the fucking whatever.
Just fucking hay.
Yeah.
Pollen.
Fucking gay.
It's pollen.
It's pollen.
Yeah, gay pollen. You just drop dead.
Yeah.
But you just leave behind like a sparkling corpse.
Yeah. With your anal cavity just sort of
just glitter like a rhinestone. Ooh.
Yummy.
Yeah,
so hay fever sucks, but I don't think it's getting me as much as it gets here.
No, but that's the thing, because like I literally thought like there was a point where like my throat started to close up and my tonsils were so swollen. And I go to the doctor and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is my time of dying. And he's like,
I can't breathe.
Yeah, because I would take the pills and it wouldn't do shit. And he's like, hey, you gotta take this nasal spray. And he was like, it should clear it up.
Right.
He's like, the problem is called a post-nasal drip, which sounds like a fucking fashion movement, like in the
right.
community. Like, yeah.
I'm a little bit out of touch with the words, the terminology.
Yeah, I had no idea. And someone was like, man, you're dripping. And I'm like, what?
Like I'm wet?
Yeah, am I leaking, bro? Like, the fuck? He's like, no.
Well, my ass is.
Yeah, all the time.
Badly, yeah.
I
write a passage.
I ran into some gay pollen and it's just all constant. But yeah, no, it was fucking weird. So I got this like nasal spray now and it's working.
Fantastic. That's great, man.
It's working. It lasts for 24 hours.
Sounds like for me, nasal spray just seems like you're just sort of fucking your nose up so it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's probably a good allegory for it. Yeah, you can't even breathe, but like you don't have hay fever. So.
Yeah, like you take that sniff in and it like just feels like you've done a line of cocaine with which is like 80% salt.
Is it?
Well, I mean, like you not usually, but like the line you're taking.
Yeah, but when I when I buy cocaine,
I get fucking high anyway.
Yeah, I once saw a kid snort Raro, which was like Kool-Aid for Americans, right?
For our American viewers.
Yeah, for the one American viewer.
We've got a British viewer now.
Oh,
buddy of mine is going to watch a few of the Pollens.
That's a terrifying prospect.
Where does it we know each other sort of like he's a primary school buddy,
right?
So we know each other at sort of like that level almost. But we got for a beer when I went back, and like it was just like normal, just like how they are like old friends, And I'm like, watch my pod, dude.
Yeah,
he doesn't know me like this.
Yeah,
I'm like, he's like, I'm gonna start rifling through them. I'm like, nah, just fucking watch number 8.
Yeah, go from 8 onwards.
And then stop again and then go back to 12.
Yeah.
But this is the episode, motherfuckers. We're gonna be funny again.
Yeah. It's just funny because like every yeah, we just fall into like weird rabbit holes.
Yeah, we
And we
did.
just start like just like talking about shit. But then again, that is kind of one thing though, like, podcasts I think like pigeonhole themselves.
Mm-mm.
They're like, we're a comedy podcast, or like we're a true crime podcast. And you like, you know what I mean? Like it has to be this, it has to be that. So
And comedy is almost sort of like this weird, like sort of overlaying thing that sort of, or maybe it's underlying.
yeah.
It's like an underlying theme, almost like a comedy podcast, because you're just talking about shit,
Yeah.
but like you're trying to make it funny.
Very little substance, really.
Yeah.
Like a lot of comedy podcasts.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I think we shouldn't worry too much about the last couple of pods. Fucking 1 out of 10 is good, man. Especially because
1 out of 10 ain't bad.
well, let's go back to the old diminishing returns, man. Diminishing
That's true.
returns. Yeah, I feel like it's almost like it's flipped around in this regard. Like the returns will be far more bountiful. At the moment.
As time goes on.
Yeah, like the opposite of diminishing returns, really.
Yeah. And it's kind of a weird one too, because like, isn't it weird though? Like the internet is like I was thinking about this today, and how the internet is really like the great equalizer, and how you've got people who literally just by doing dumb shit online, dumb videos or something, they've actually gone and made something.
PewDiePie, dude.
PewDiePie.
I used to watch that shit.
Yeah. I used to watch him. He's just some Swedish kid playing video games. You know what I mean? So I was like, it's so weird to me that like people just do stuff, and it kind of just works. So I think that's kind of like the Gen Z dream, I think.
Yeah.
Is to just like do something, put it on YouTube, and then just like pray. Like fucking pray,
Right. And really, like, with a guy like PewDiePie, he's sort of the most like normal guy. One of the reasons he did so well. He's just this dumb, goofy, not really that funny. He's entertaining because he was loud and like he was sort of, I don't want to say obnoxious, because that's not the word, but he was just like this sort of dumb, goofy motherfucker.
Yeah.
And
it's just a guy.
Super relatable.
Yeah. He's just a dude. But that's kind of the cool thing too, because like you can just, but it's also really interesting because it seems to be like an all or nothing thing. Like you have to go fully into it.
Right.
Like you can't just, and that's true with most things. And it's kind of like, not a curse of creativity, but like I think the price of creativity, like the cost of being a creative, is that oftentimes things that you actually do want to do are very much all or nothing pursuits, And so it's like, hey, I'm going to try it. I could very well fucking starve to death. Yeah. But like,
I think the cool thing about this is we're still ourselves. We're still completely ourselves.
It's really weird too when you see someone who like, because it's weird too, like from like for performing arts, whether it's like actors or because everyone's got a friend who's like a musician or something like that. It's really weird to like, see people. I know when people are performing, they're always different. Yeah. But it's really weird to like when you kind of see someone in another capacity and you're like, oh, they're still performing. You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of there's a weird sort of like. Yeah. It's weird. But yeah, no.
That's why it's always great seeing you perform, because it's like there's no difference.
Right.
There's no switch.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
Like I think with like my comedy, it's a bit more structured, like. But I don't think that this is just me. I don't know what you think of from the other side of the pane of glass, but I don't think I'm sort of changing too much.
No.
Not too much.
Very much yourself. Yeah.
Just staying there like freaking the fuck out.
Like a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of a freak out, but like it's good. Like it's weird. But comedy's back, and I'm glad that it's here. And it's fucking weird too, dude. So I had to, and I fucking hope it's not gonna be like this forever. I swear to Christ, if comedy gigs and end up coming back like this, I'm gonna shit the bed.
Like what?
And then I'm gonna fucking eat it. Like I had to go to a restaurant. So me and my buddy were at a restaurant. And she's like, do you have your vaccine passport? And I was like, no. And she's like, it's real easy. Because I am double vaccinated, but like.
I told you motherfuckers get this shit done.
And then
I told him.
You told me. And I was just like, I should do it. And it's easy. But like, right. And she was right. But it was like the middle of the day. It was like 12:30 in the middle of the fucking day. And every time I tried to log in or try to like set it up, which was like, we're experiencing a high number of fucking blah, 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 blah.
You were trying to find socks.
What the like? Ah!
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there. I'm just like, I have a photo of the car. If you can like let me the fuck in. And she's like, that should do it.
Yeah,
and
there's like that sort of thing.
Yeah,
like, I've been working in a cafe, and there's been that sort of thing. Like a guy would be like, or we'd like know a guy, and we'd be like, or their name would fuck up. Like it was like their identity thing, the identity issue.
Yeah,
that one. But yeah, things like that. It's kind of like good faith. Fuck he was a big on good faith. That's what got us into this mess in the first place.
Yeah.
Not to jump down that COVID rabbit hole, which is so safe and
every single fucking unvaccinated person is like Timmy in what's that? It was Ebenezer Scrooge.
Oh damn. No.
Well, what's that thing? It's a Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And that he gets visited by the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future.
Right.
And there's that little kid who like needs medical assistance, and his parents are poor, and Scrooge ended up having a change of heart and giving him the money for the medicine.
Oh, okay.
But like, oh my god, every single unvaccinated person right now is like little Timmy at Scrooge's window, just fucking watching the feast happen, just like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
they're gonna get bored. They're gonna get sick of click and collect. They're gonna have their own little societies for a wee while.
There's only so many times you can do click and collect, standing in your doorway watching some guy just like, and I fucking did that job
down
for 3 business days.
Oh no. Is that how long the process took? You said?
No, that's how long it took for me to get into a fucking accident in a truck I had no training in.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, "Hey, mate, is this ain't for you?" And I'm like, "I'm way ahead of you, man." Yeah. That was the other thing too, because I was like, "Hey, what about like a contract?" And they go, "Yeah, there's no contracts." It's so it's good faith. And they're like, "Oh, our boss, he's a good guy. I've been working for him for 3 years. He's never let me down." And I'm like, yo, he could go bankrupt tomorrow, son. Like, what are you gonna do? Go to court and be like, "Hey, this guy said he'd pay me," and they're like,
"Yeah, can I have my holiday pay, please?"
Yeah, and they're like, "Well,
where's your name signed on anything?"
Yeah, literally, and the guy pays taxes for those people. So he's like, the buddy man was just like, he pays that taxes and shit like that. It's so good. And I'm just like, if for any reason, and he was a nice guy, I met him. He was a lovely dude, but if for whatever reason something goes wrong, the IRS is not going to give a fuck.
No, no one is.
And they're going to be like, "Hey, are you working for this guy?" And you're like, "Yeah." And they go, "Fucking prove it." And you're like, "Tell him. Tell him."
Yeah,
it's like, no, it's not going to happen.
I don't know that guy, but I think he stole my truck and fucking backed into this nice car. I've got photos to prove it. Yeah,
well, if it was a commercial vehicle, and then it's commercial insurance.
Yeah,
so
insurance would have been fine.
So it's their fucking problem. But yeah, so it was a wild time. But yeah, no, there's only somebody, and it's weird too being on the other side of that, being that guy who's carrying the crate up, for click and collect.
Yeah.
And because it's always this awkward little moment where they kind of want to help, but they're also like, ew.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're like, no, you've been out in the world, and
yeah, that's right. You've been out in the and that COVID sort of.
I don't know where you've been.
Cesspool.
You're in high vis, and that's I associate that with
the high vis, man. The high vis.
Anytime.
Low down.
Listen, you're a beautiful kid, right? You're a beautiful boy, strong. He's lean. This guy's shaped like a Greek god.
No.
But we put you in a high vis jacket, and people are immediately like,
"This guy's homeless."
Yeah. Ooh, poor. And
this guy looks
dirty.
He looks cracky.
Exactly, and it's weird. And look, I'm not the worst looking kid in the world, but even I was walking up to houses, and this one lady saw the jacket, and just sort of took a step back, and I was just like, "Lady, I swear to God, I'm a creative fucking genius, and I have been denied.
How dare you grimace at me?"
Yeah, stepping back into your house, I will come in there and cough on your fucking cats. And so,
and also, I'll give you just like the my entire catalog of achievements and like my future prospects.
Can you imagine just knocking on the door? Yeah, I was summa cum laude. I was top of my class in 6th grade. Fuck you, lady.
I worked at the Facebook, like I was their Facebook guy.
Yeah, I did marketing at one point. I was 19. COVID took it all. It's kind of there's a lot of people right now who are sitting in bus shelters in high vis going, I used to be a chartered accountant.
I feel bad for that.
Big Four.
That cool, it's not a cool quote. fact. But it's like, I don't know the percentage, but it's like a lot of fucking guys with PhDs are janitors.
Yeah. In
America.
I never understood the concept of being overqualified for something. Because you walk in, you're like, hey, I can do this fucking job. And they go, you're overqualified. What do you mean I'm overqualified? You want someone that can do the job. If anything, that's even better.
I think it's salary expectations, isn't it? That's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
That's one reason.
I met a guy who has like masters and shit in like mathematics. Like this guy was fucking brilliant. Indian guy. And he lived next in the apartment next door to me. Brilliant guy. But he
couldn't get a fucking job.
He had a fucking crazy story. He said that there was some woman who basically decided you're mine and like baby trapped him.
Oh no.
And then like, of course, and then apparently she was fucking crazy. I only got one side of the story, but he seemed like a nice guy, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. She was a crazy bitch.
Good faith, baby.
Good faith. And maybe he was a dick. Like,
yeah.
No faith at all. Everyone was a fucking cunt in that story.
Who paints themselves as a cunt?
Yeah.
Ever.
Me. No.
I don't mind doing it. I'm like, I was wrong there.
Yeah, I was terribly mistaken.
I tell the other party to their face. Like, I'm sorry about the way I was, and still am.
Yeah, I am sorry for the way this occurred, but it will happen again. I am God's favorite.
I had bad training as a person.
Yeah.
My person training wasn't adequate.
I was poorly socialized, and I am suffering as a result.
I am trying though, but this is all part of the process.
Yeah, exactly. But it's weird too, because like this guy had a son to this crazy woman. Right?
Baby trap.
And so, baby trap. And so anyway, he basically like had a son.
Appreciate
it. He had this fucking son. And she's like, oh, you fucking abandoned us and blah, 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 and fuck you. And by the way, you only, here's the other thing too. It's like, okay, listen, I understand some certain people don't get a lot of attention from a specific gender in certain parts of the world. And so
the Middle East,
I mean, he could be a sheik, shit soil.
Middle East.
But look, there's different strokes for different folks, and sometimes you get a large concentration of folks, and you just ain't their stroke. So you got to go somewhere else.
Hot diggity.
So he wasn't a lot of people's stroke. So I understand you wanted attention from someone. This woman comes along, she wants that fucking dick.
He gave her half a smile, and she fucking ran with it.
Yeah, and she was just like, "This is gonna be a thing for fucking ever." And so she was like super controlling. Apparently,
you can do that as a woman.
Yeah, and she was like, you can't go out and see these friends, you can't do this, you have to dress this way. She would buy him clothes.
Girls are usually picky. Guys, they're like, that's nice.
Oh, I'm getting attention. You want to validate me? I will literally be. You can shit in my mouth. I will not say a thing as long as that's
man want to fuck.
Man want to fuck. That's how broken most people are.
Right.
They will let you abuse them as long as they get some inkling of love that they never got as kids.
I think even up a bit, it's like it's a male thing as well. That's like very instilled into our society that a man will have sex with a woman.
Yeah. Almost anyone. Because our lives are transactionary. Because it's like you could look like Brad Pitt, have a six-pack and a huge dick, but if you live in your mom's basement and you never had a job, you can't hold a job down, you don't have a degree, you don't have nothing. People might fuck that guy, but no one's gonna have a future with him. No one's gonna marry that guy because it's all about what you can provide. Right. So and that despairs a lot of people. And then we're losing 30 dudes a day to suicide in this country. Do
you think those facts, the Brad Pitt and having a big dick, are separate things?
No, I have no idea. I think it's person to person.
No, but I mean, do you think Brad Pitt has a big dick?
Oh, undoubtedly. Genetics tend to line up quite well. Yeah.
So winners. He was definitely born a winner.
Some people are born winners, and I fucking love that.
It's great.
Some people are born winners. Listen, you sometimes.
I bet he's a dumbass.
I
hope he's a dumbass.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Everyone hopes he's a dumbass, but then again, you don't get to the top of those industries by being stupid.
Well, I mean, like, I don't hope he's a dumbass. The fact that like things level out. I hope that he's just a dumbass because like, he just sort of he coasted. I hope he coasted.
Right. Yeah. That's what everyone hopes. Everyone's like, yeah, I hope that guy coasted. Laughs in Elon Musk. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Some people think he probably like they want him to sort of achieve what he got. that he worked really hard to be a great actor, which of course he did.
Yeah.
But I hope there's a bit of coasting in there.
Oh, undoubtedly. Like I think so. Life gets so much easier when you're talented.
You
know, that kind of talent. Just the right assembly of elements, and it lines up.
Yeah.
And people just shoot off to the moon. I fucking love those people. And sometimes you meet a woman who's just like, she's smart, beautiful, fucking like just driven. And you're like, holy fuck, yeah.
Why are you talking to me?
Yeah, that's fucking sick. Like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, go and conquer the world. I love people that are born winners. It's like, go and conquer the world. Let me, invite me to your party. Just tell me all about it. Tell me all about it. But this man right here, this man that I would live next to in this flat.
This maths guy.
This maths guy was not born a winner.
He was conquered.
He was conquered. No, he was fucking conquered.
She was the conqueror.
She was the conqueror. Yo, she conquered something because she got fucking pregnant, and she was apparently mad controlling. And
love that for him.
Yeah, so and he was just so yeah, and then anyway, she got pregnant, and like, listen, it takes two to tango. So you did sleep with the girl, and apparently he didn't. And the way he said it to me was like he didn't really want to be with her, and he kind of was like told her no a lot of the time, and then she would just turn up to his house. One time she was in his house when he came home.
I love controlling people when they've actually got like no hold over you at all. Like he's like she was controlling. Like this is before, like in his head, like she had no like standing. She had no kid. They didn't have a kid together. And at that point, he's thinking, man, she's so controlling. Just like, just fucking leave.
Yeah.
Just like cut it from your life.
And apparently he tried. Allegedly, he tried very hard. But didn't work.
Didn't work.
I don't know how that happens, but now she's got this son, and she went full psycho on him, apparently, saying like, when our son's old enough, I'm gonna get him to kill you.
Jeez.
Because like, you abandoned us and shit like that. And like
math guys have big dicks.
Math guy, I hope he does, because he's gonna need it when he's trying to ask people for refuge as this son is trying to kill him. But yeah, but some people are born winners. Some people are winners. There's some people who are losers, definitely. I think there's a lot of people who haven't figured out how to win yet. It's like maybe you were born and raised in New Zealand, or like you live in Auckland City, and you're like, hey, I have all this talent and potential, but there is literally zero market for all the stuff that I'm good at.
I don't have
an international audience.
That's right. That's right. You've got nothing to sort of gain traction on. And there's also people who just like don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like I was that person a lot. Like I'm still really that person, but well, I kind of know what I'm doing. Like I know what I want to do. I know what I want to achieve. But it wasn't long ago that I fucking didn't. And there's still a lot of people out there that don't. And I feel sorry for you. Get your shit together, think about what you want to do, and go and get it.
It's gonna be really interesting.
Go and get it, baby.
Yeah, but it's gonna be cool when it's like, I'm watching you on Netflix. I don't have to call you up, and then the numbers will be like, this number has blocked you. Like, what's that guy from Vine? He's just like, I'm gonna blow up and act like I don't know nobody. And he puts a snap back on. Dude, that's the funniest fucking video. And he's so right.
I think he's actually a fucking famous rapper, dude, that guy. It's funny that I know this and you don't. Because I feel like this is your people.
I literally just know him from the Vine. But the way there was so much sincerity in the way that he said that.
And he had the grill on. And he had the dreads.
Yeah, he did. I'm gonna blow up.
What's his name? In the comments. We know him. We know who we're talking about.
I hope he's doing well.
He is doing well. He's killing it.
Yeah,
he's killing it. He's a fucking very famous rapper.
Was he at the time?
I think he's still
Vine.
I think he's still like probably Vine famous as well.
Right.
But like he was famous before then.
He was famous before then.
And he was just like, yeah, fuck, I'm Vining now as well.
Right.
Because he's a funny guy.
Was that a character?
No, that's him.
Well, that
is genuinely him.
Those are the people that I love so much. Like
he was on First Week Feast, the hunger, the spicy ones, hot ones.
Yeah.
He's a celeb.
That's crazy.
He's a famous rapper.
That's crazy. Like I love those people so much. Those people that are like fucking off the wall, and like that's them. Like that is genuinely who they are.
Yeah.
Like,
but yeah, no, I agree. I sometimes I feel like personas are strange.
Yeah.
I feel like what happened to you? You know, like
Yeah.
who were you?
There's there's a specific comedian I can think of. Well, I'm sure he'll guess immediately.
Right.
Who was very off the fucking wall, like a very off the wall kind of person. But that is very wacky, very kooky. But that's him. Like that's who he is. Because I often wonder, like, does he go home and just kind of like just stare into the abyss? You know what I mean? Like the wall comes down, like it's like the whole thing's a character. He's just some method actor. He's like, man, these, you know, and his wife's like, you know, Clark, why can't you fucking come home? Like, why, you know, I'm taking after the fucking baby.
You Jim Carrey's.
Yeah, right. You know, because he's not like that. But like that persona comes on. Whatever. I often wonder, like, man, does he go home and just like light up a cigarette and they're like, man, they don't understand my genius. They've only known me as a character. Fucking, you know, like, but.
I think
that's really who he is. Like that, and I fucking love that about him because it's like
he's definitely that guy. And then just like he obviously brings the level down when we're just conversating because like that'd be weird if suddenly he was like, you know.
It's always fun to like just exist next to him. You know what I mean? You ever had a conversation with him and he'll just say some like way out shit and you're like, fuck yeah.
And then almost parallel to that conversation, he just says like something that's like very true or like something that's like very insightful, especially with comedy. Like like someone like is maybe like he's one of the few guys that have given me like good advice.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, you're fucking like, he was talking to me about like how, because I'm like, man, like I really react to the crowd if things aren't going well.
Yeah.
And I start making eye contact and things like that, and it fucks me up. And he's like, nah, you just need to think of having just like an emotional sort of procedure in place for when things aren't going well. He had a great technical term for it almost.
Right.
But just having sort of an emotional like stability or something.
Right. Yeah.
And like, Jesus, you've nailed it. You're fucking right.
Yeah. He will say some very, very insightful shit, and you're like, oh, what? Yeah. Very, very clever guy.
He's great.
Insane work ethic.
Oh my goodness.
Like he's one of those guys that I reckon you have to like circumnavigate his way. Because you know, like some people just go straight. No one ever goes straight to success. It's always like they're here and success is here, and they kind of go like this. But like I feel like he's one of those dudes that like circumnavigates like around the planet, and then comes, but you know, goes so far in that direction that he comes back around and he like hits it. But yeah, very, very, very cool dude. Interesting guy. But yeah, I wonder like what's gonna happen. Like
How long has he been in the game for? Do you know?
No idea. 5 years. 4 or 5 maybe.
I wish him all the best.
Yeah. Fucking love that guy.
Because he's a genuine guy.
Yeah, he's fucking lovely, dude. But yeah, sometimes you do meet people because it's people always, and that's the thing with like artists as well.
There are peers.
There are artists and there are like debutantes. What is that? I think I got the wrong way. Hang on. Dilettantes.
Still don't know.
Who are like, okay, let's pull this up.
I trust you, I believe.
They're kind of like artists, but not really.
Okay.
So I don't know the specific definition, but like they're kind of like artists, but not really. Like they're kind of creative, but they kind of fake it. Like they're like, oh, I'm an artist, and I'm with this, I'm with that. But they're not really. Like they don't really have any real sort of insights. They don't really have any real sort of artistic merit. But they will always pretend to be like, oh yes, I'm an artist, and whatever.
They're like the facade.
Yeah, and they're sort of like a lower rung because like in any sort of artistic like let's say scene or whatever, like those people will actually make up the bulk of who's that, because like real artists and like real art and real genuine are actually really rare. Like the shit that you say and you think of it's actually very rare, like because you know you've suffered you know what I mean, and you've actually like you have your own perspective on things, and you actually like kind of you're always trying to figure out like, hey, how do I like, you know, illustrate what I'm thinking, as opposed to, because like, there's a lot of people who will just like AIDS and they go, that's funny.
Yeah.
And then they try to like kind of create a whole canon for that, you know what I mean? So they almost work backwards in a way, and it's kind of, it can work, but it's also like weird. But you're one of those people who's just very, very genuine. So like real artists, like genuine artists, very rare. But the bulk of people are really like dilettantes, you know.
Dilettantes.
Yeah, and any real sort of.
And that's in every industry, right? You know, you go to like
that's in every industry.
It was so strange to me when I hear like how like Taylor Swift was like writing for people, Like I think Ed Sheeran was getting some of his songs written for him, or he was writing for others. That was like such a strange thing to me. I'm like, you're just a fucking voice. Like,
because
you know, these other people are just voices.
Yeah,
they can sing well, and so they are musicians, but they're not.
Yeah,
they just have a good voice.
And it's weird because like it's a competitive environment. Because people always like, no, I'm an artist, and art's about collaboration, and art's about, you know, as soon as you've got competitive about this, you've lost. And blah, blah. But it's not, because it's like there's not a lot of real artists around. There's not a lot of like people who are genuinely artists, and like the majority of any bulk of people in any creative sphere are dilettantes, and so it's highly competitive, because it's like they're all trying to one up each other, and it's like they're not trying to be. A lot of people aren't trying to be like artists. They're trying to be better than that fucking guy.
Right.
You know, they're trying. It's like in business, you don't have to have a brand new idea. You just have to do something 10% better than everybody else.
Right.
So everyone's trying to be 10% better than that guy, who's trying to be 10% better than that guy, and so it becomes like a whirlpool.
It's funny because like with comedy, there's like actual incentive as well to be better than the next guy. You're like, you're gonna get that spot. You're gonna be able to perform more than that person. Yeah, absolutely. If you're better. So, you know, the people who aren't competitive, it's strange to me. But like, when I see a good set, and it's not a good set, I'm fucked off. I'm like, how did they get that reaction? Whatever. I'm a fucking artist. Yeah, it goes back to that.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
It's silly. But, yeah, we've been thinking about structuring the plot a bit more. You know, having a bit of more regimentation. I don't know if that's the word for it. But,
scaffolding.
Bit of scaffolding.
It's a good thing, because again, like it is competitive, and you are competing with like all these other people, and like, you know, podcasts and shit. Everyone and their mother's got a podcast.
We want to be funny, man. We want like people to keep coming back. We want like we want to buy our content. You know, that's what we genuinely want one day. It's good. Like
Patreon,
Patreon. We want this content before. So I was thinking, saw this guy at work, this child at work, and I was wanted to bounce this idea off you, and thought of you. Just what are your thoughts on like how I processed it? I'm like, so there was this kid, and he was like rude. He was like, I was asking him like what type of sauce he wants with his breakfast, and he didn't answer me, and I thought, you know, oh, here's this for a kid or whatever, you know, I feel sorry for him or whatever, you know, because he had a weird upbringing, perhaps. You know, you don't have your child acting like that. And then I thought, maybe he's autistic, right? And I thought, you know, because like to say he's autistic, that's giving him like the benefit. Yeah, it's the benefit of the doubt. But is that fucking wrong to just sort of whack on that autism label?
I think if it gets you through the day, no. You know, I don't, because it's not going to harm the kid.
What's the right path? What is the correct path? Because there's two fucking very different paths I took there.
Yeah. I am
face value, or
I am seldom the right person to ask about any kind of, you know, moral high ground.
Moral barometers?
Yeah, moral barometer. Because listen, I have ADHD. The only times I experience is now and not now. And so, you know, I don't know, but like, probably was autistic. Because I probably would have done like shit that was way worse.
Right.
You know, like I would have thought like, man, this kid's a piece of shit. You know, like
this kid got taken around, you know, around back of the shed.
Yeah, that emotional.
He's got an uncle.
Yeah. Listen, this kid was face down in the dirt. Like, you know, it's a whole. It becomes like a, you know, the emotional regulation is sometimes a little bit screwed. Okay. So like, you know, I can often be like, man, fuck this kid. He's gonna, you know, I'll see you in a trailer park in 50 years, motherfucker.
Yeah,
like,
I'll catch you up.
Yeah, I'll see it. Don't worry about it. You know, I'm gonna find you in 50 years.
I've got friends your age.
I'm gonna shit in your fucking mailbox.
I know a lot of kids your age.
Yeah. No.
Was it a wrong thought or not?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think if you think something, I think you can think whatever you want.
Definitely.
You know,
but is my thought process off?
I don't think so. No, he might have been autistic. But then again, people might say, "Oh, how can you say that? Because you say he's autistic, blah blah blah." You know, and get really down about it. But it's also like, hey, that could also be taken as incredibly considerate. Because instead of saying that kid was a piece of shit and he should burn in hell, then I'm going to find him, I'm going to be under his bed and fucking, you know, like, you know, smother him with his, you know, teeth, with his Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, smother him.
Yeah, I'm going to smother the living fuck out of that guy, you know. That kid's gonna be meeting God tonight. Instead
He's
of
gonna
doing
feel it.
yeah, he's gonna feel it. Instead of doing all that shit, you were like, hey, maybe he's neurodivergent. Maybe there is something going on with him. Maybe there is some kind of condition that I should allow space for.
Yeah.
And therefore, the fact that it occurs to me means that you're a very, considerate and inclusive person.
It's a really weird way to be nice.
It's a weird way to be nice,
It's a very strange way to be nice.
but it's still nice.
It's still nice.
So therefore, I think you're in the clear.
I had to question myself about those. I'm like, Jesus, like, is that right? Is that nice, or is it?
There's I think it's from the movie Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. That one.
Mm.
And then I think it's been in the beginning.
Mr. John? Johnston?
Something like that.
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. Fucking way up. Fucking Johnson.
Jay. Jay was correct.
Oh, that is actually true. Yeah, I'll give you points for that. But in the beginning, Tom Cruise's character, who is the lawyer, says like, my dad was a used car salesman. Or he said, my dad said being a lawyer is like being a used car salesman. And it ain't about trying to prove that your client is innocent. It's about trying to shift the blame. You don't have to prove that he's innocent. You just have to like blame somebody. You just have to prove that someone else is to blame.
Precedent this, precedent that.
Yeah, exactly.
Law's weird.
Because like used cars, hey, I bought a car from you and the thing shit the bed. Hey man, you have a 200-mile warranty. You know what I mean? And like you gotta check the blah 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 blah, and you gotta check the oil. Like it had oil when we fucking gave it to you.
You didn't fuck your wife that night?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is.
Listen, I know she refuses to shave and you get fucking pubes in your teeth. I know that you don't fucking floss because you don't have to.
We know you're gay.
But yeah, listen, I know it's the fact. I don't know if she's a beard. She had a butt plug when she walked in here. I saw it. It was shaped like a fist. No one has a fist coming out of their ass. But you have to understand that it had oil in the car when we gave it to you. You know what I mean? And so
that's the point.
Yeah, and that's the point. But it's so funny because it's like a lot of this like bullshit with like social justice and shit like that. People always blame, but there's almost always another way to flip it. So you're like, hey, I'm actually even more woke than you.
Yeah. It's a woke off.
Yeah, it's a woke off. Yeah. And it ain't about trying to prove that. And that's the point. That's the fucking thing. Everyone tries to prove that they're innocent when someone goes, hey man, you're racist. Or you this, or you're not inclusive, blah, blah, blah. Everyone tries to prove they're innocent. You ain't gonna do that shit. You just gotta prove that someone else is to blame. And that's them. Because it's like, hey, I actually made considerations for the fact that this kid might be neurodivergent.
This actually segues perfectly into my next and second and final bit for the pod. It's like, do you think that do you think sort of like people who have actually suffered are annoyed at these like rallies? I don't want to say because like suffering is sort of it's from one to one. It's what do you call it? It's objective or is it subjective?
Subjective.
It's subjective. It's subjective to the person suffering. But do you think that like the way that like the things that they're complaining about, like these rallies, you've got like blacks, you've got the LGBTQ,
right.
You've got groups like that, Jews,
right.
You've got groups who sort of gone through tough periods of their life. Like probably the old, the old, they went through war. They're like, what the fuck? What are you complaining about? Do you think they're pissed off?
You mean like individual rallies for different movements?
No, I'm talking about the most recent one.
Oh, the vaccine rallies.
And I guess you could even talk about like woke movements.
Woke movements. Yeah, I think I think each generation knows its own suffering, and I think like each new generation. I think each generation knows its own suffering, but I think each new generation's suffering is more abstract than the last one might fully be able to grasp. And that was less true when it's been the last 200 years have been difficult for the West because in terms of the parental divide, because you had World War One. The only real generation that could relate to each other was the people who went to World War One, came back, had kids, and then those kids went and fought in World War Two. Because they got it. But then the boomers were all like, hey, I'm going to be a hippie and I'm going to burn my bra, man, and like fucking blah, blah, blah.
We're going to Vietnam?
Yeah. When am I going to Vietnam? Fuck that. And their parents were like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what do you mean you want to burn you? Because remember,
this is what we did.
You remember when they grew up, it was like the parents who went to World War II, who had the boomers, grew up probably in the 30s.
Yeah. Okay.
right? And so by that point, yeah, you're doing the Charleston, and it's like you wait till marriage to have sex, and now these kids are out.
You're sitting down at concerts.
He's eating ass on the hood of a car, and some guy called Jimi Hendrix is playing the guitar with his fucking teeth. And you're like, someone has to stop this, man. So like, yeah, it's like
stay home and listen to music.
Yeah, and you're like, what the fuck do you have to have a family? And they're like, I'm not doing that. So like, right, and then the boomers come, and then the Gen X comes along, going, hey man, fucking inflation and the U.S. oil crisis, and then like the internet comes along, and then it's like, because our parents have no fucking, I mean, depends on how cool your parents are. Because my dad can actually use Facebook and shit. Like my mom actually no. But there's a lot of boomer parents who have no fucking clue. They're calling their kids up, going like, do you know how to fucking? I accidentally uploaded a picture of my clit, and I have no idea how to delete it.
Garlic bread.
Yeah. There's people that are just like, how to get away with murder, in the status bar, and it's like, grandma, this isn't Google.
How do I chemically burn bones? So it doesn't come back to trace,
Where to buy an industrial amount of why, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think the suffering gets more and more abstract. I think our children's generation, we will be able to understand, because we went through a lot of shit that boomers would never understand, because they didn't grow up with it, because we had the internet, like cyberbullying and shit like that.
I think specifically the rallying right now with freedom of movement is wrong,
Yeah,
I think it's wrong, because it's like it's not something to be rallied about. It's like, just fucking deal with it, dude.
Right.
Melbourne have just gone through a 200, like my buddy who helped edit the podcast a few times. I've got other people I know from Melbourne. I'm like, fuck that. Like, don't ask me how my lockdown's going. Yeah, it sucks, but like, don't ask me how my lockdown's going, because it's like nothing in comparison to yours. Because like, I guess you shouldn't compare, but I don't think like the lockdown we've been through is much to complain about.
That's kind of what I mean by like each generation's suffering is more abstracted, because like all the generations will be like, this is nothing to complain about. We had to deal with X, Y, Z. But the next generation is like, this is worse, because you didn't have to deal with A, B, C. But both sides don't really get it. So I feel like, I think there's a little bit of that where like, I think there is a lot to complain about. I think I understand why people are angry.
Right.
But I also understand why people don't get it. You know what I mean? Because older people are like, I had to fight in World War II. I stormed the beach at Normandy.
Yeah.
Like, you just had to sit home for 3 months. But these people are also like, hey man, like I've never experienced something like this. This is a really potent experience. I've tried not to kill myself for 3 months. I try not to hang myself in a studio apartment, because that is true. Like, we are very social creatures, and like the worst thing they could do to you, if you murder somebody, they're going to put you in a box and they're going to leave you alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like they could torture you. That could be prison. Prison could be they, sodomize you repeatedly, but like they just isolate you. So I understand, but I also feel like as things go, and like again, our children's generation, like we will be able to guide them through things that our parents couldn't guide us through, because they didn't know. Like no one had the internet growing up. No one knew how the fuck to deal with cyberbullying, but we will know how to deal with that better.
I wonder what.
But then they will have something, and they're like, "Fuck you, Dad."
Yeah, I wonder what issues they're gonna have. Yeah. Man. Like, I wonder what the next sort of internet is.
Probably, I predict deep faking will be a problem.
Deep faking.
Because
they've talked about it for the last sort of couple of years. Probably even
because every time the technology comes out when it's new, it's rare. Only the richest or government agencies can afford it. And then as it gets, so like I reckon there'll be like some people will like each other. Go, oh, Stacy, and then Stacy says no. So the guy deep fakes a porn video of Stacy, and then spreads it around. You know, and it's like how, you know what I mean?
I feel like that. I feel like that sort of defamation won't last long.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, there's a guy with a small dick, because there's different strokes with different folks. Some people like small dicks apparently, and so they might deep fake a video of Chad on a video of a guy with a small dick, or so, you know what I mean, like something. And then like
I feel like that's going to be a short fad, dude.
Yeah, it probably could be a short fad.
Because it's like that is crazy defamation. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. But it's kids.
It's defamation at its like highest form.
Yeah, but it's also like the young kids, the teenagers. They have no fucking, you know what I mean? So it'll be devastating. But I just think shit like that will kind of occur as it becomes more available. You know, the idea that you can do, and so they'll be like, "Fuck you, Dad! You never had someone deep fake you fucking a horse." And you're like, "Yeah, you're right. Like I didn't. Like, like you know what I mean? You know what I mean?" So I feel like there's things that we'll be able to help with, but there's things that like they'll complain about, and you won't get it. You'll be like, "It's a video. Who gives a shit? It's obviously not you."
Right. Yeah.
You know, who cares?
It's a very specific thing, though.
Yeah, and they might go, "Hey, fuck you, Dad! You never had someone Photoshop your face on Riley Reid," and you're like, "Oh, son."
Sounds sexy.
Yeah, they're like, "Son."
I know that personally.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, "Son, you are not Riley Reid. Like, you're a guy. It's very clearly a joke. Relax." He goes, "Fuck you, Dad. You know, like my friends are beating off to this and fuck it." Yeah, you know what I mean? And so it's like you won't get it, but like,
I feel you.
yeah. I feel like I understand both sides.
Same here, man. Same here. Yeah. Same here. What do you have? What have you brought?
Dwayne Maxwell, the right hand of Jeffrey Epstein.
Ooh, fun. Love a good pedophile.
Female pedophile too.
Ooh, Jesus. They don't exist.
Equality.
We need to turn those margins, man.
Yeah. I think there's room
There's work to be done.
for female representation in the pedophilia sphere.
They're not represented even nearly enough as they should be.
No.
And I for one, am against it.
I resent that. I think we should have an equal footing. I think there should be an equal opportunity female.
And unfortunately, that means the the amount of female pedophilia needs to go up dramatically.
Yeah.
Which means people are gonna suffer.
People are gonna suffer. But it's for the woke. It's for the woke.
Yeah, yeah.
So
you can't change my mind.
You can't complain about it.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, listen, that lady's woke as fuck. Did she suck off a 10-year-old? Yeah. But she's woke as fuck. So you can't complain about it. And that's kind of the ridiculousness of the whole thing. Is that like there's people doing heinous shit and they're like, yeah, but the guy's black. It's like, yeah, but he killed 3 people for no fucking reason. Like
can't breathe.
Can't breathe. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's dark. But yeah, no, so it's Ghislaine Maxwell, fucking the trial starts. All of a sudden the Omicron variant occurs. Is that a coincidence? Do you think so?
I'd love to think it's not.
Am I being conspiracy here? Kyle Rittenhouse, and I know people always have differing opinions of Kyle Rittenhouse. The thing with the law is,
do you like him?
I understand why the verdict went the way it did.
Right.
Because the thing about the law is, they don't give a fuck what happened before. They don't give a fuck what happens after. They give a fuck about the incident in question. And so people are like, you cross state lines. Yeah. But the incident in question was he was attacked by 3 people. Doesn't matter why. Because someone could be like, hey, I fucked your wife. If you attack that guy and you kill him, or even if you just attack him, you're going to jail for aggravated assault.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you fucked your wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like the incident in question is him being attacked by these people. And you can attack someone with anything, and it's assault with a deadly weapon.
So going across state lines with whatever.
It's not great, but
it's not great.
But again, the incident in question is the attack.
Cool.
Not what preceded it, which was crossing state lines. Right?
He's not guilty.
Well, yeah, clearly, because he was acquitted by a jury of his peers. But the thing was that, like, if you hit someone with a skateboard in any setting, that's assault with a deadly weapon.
What
if you stab someone with a pencil, that's assault with a deadly weapon.
What was his peers? Who were his peers? I wonder. I want to see their faces. I wonder if they had just like a real mixed bunch. You know, they really. It was like a New World Disney movie. You know.
Yeah. But the thing is with a jury is that like the defense will pick half and the prosecution will pick half.
Yeah, I know how it works. Yeah, vetoes. You get 10 each or whatever, and
yeah. So, people are like, oh, it was all fucking these people who wanted it. No, it wasn't, because the prosecution.
There's like 100 of them or whatever it is, 50, and then they're like, fuck off. They're like, fuck off.
Yeah, I think there was 10. Yeah, exactly. So they picked the jury, but so it's an equal. They were both on equal footing.
Right.
But I understand that, like, sort of why it went the way it did. But again, that case got so much media coverage. By the way, Joseph Rosenbaum, the guy who was killed, one of the people who was killed, he was killed, and it's not a good thing that he did. I'm not a Kyle Rittenhouse fan. But the guys who attacked him obviously came from across state lines as well. And also, we're looking for trouble.
Yeah.
Joseph Rosenbaum, who was killed, was a child molester and had
Ooh.
like 5 counts of child rape. One of them being a 5-year-old.
This guy Carl, he's doing God's work.
You know what I mean? So he was a fucking nightmare. But
He's a hero.
yeah. Wait till this gets to it. We're just gonna get banned from YouTube.
The title of this podcast is going to be Carl Rittenhouse.
Yeah. But
He's a hero.
But yeah. No. So no, I mean, look, I don't feel bad about the people that he killed, but
What about the other two?
but that's the thing.
They were friends to a pedophile killer.
Yeah, none of them were great people. None of them were like a school teacher that volunteered for UNICEF or anything like that.
There was no Big Brother program going on that afternoon. You know about him?
Yeah.
Where he just like trying to help out like his two buddies.
Yeah, sorry, Carl, I can't come. I got to defend Kenosha. Play.
This wasn't a Make-A-Wish.
Yeah. So yeah, just wait till we see ourselves on the news. Carl Rittenhouse was doing God's work. Josh Jones of New Zealand speaks out. You know what I mean?
But like, how do you like quote for someone?
Yeah, exactly.
What's your name?
Yeah.
He's a hero.
Yeah, they fuck it up. It's just like James Jones. You know what I mean?
Jimmy Jackson.
Yeah.
That fucking Jimmy Jackson, that New Zealand.
Yeah, he grew up where I grew up. And yeah, it was really cool. I've never met him. I've never even seen him.
He's
I
not.
saw him once at a bus.
He's not funny.
But
Straight to the camera.
but yeah, no. So the Carl Rittenhouse case, so much media coverage. Ghislaine Maxwell, right hand to a guy who ran a pedophile ring, Jeffrey Epstein, who allegedly hung himself in a cell. No media coverage. It's all about the Omicron.
Give the people the news.
It's not even going to be filmed. The Carl Rittenhouse trial was filmed by the media because you can just go to court.
Yeah.
Like you don't need a reason. Like you can there's benches and shit.
Oh
you
yeah.
can just go to court.
Me and my buddies, me and my buddy Ryan, that was our like Wednesday thing at like 10 o'clock or something like that. Because court wasn't until Wednesday in Plymouth.
Yeah.
So some people would stay fucking like 2 days in jail, not jail, sort of like whatever it was. Fucking they would stay in the cells for like a couple of days.
Yeah, right.
And so we go and see all those cases on Wednesdays, dude.
Right.
It was fucking fun, man.
Fun fact. Apparently,
great stuff.
Shortland Street. Specifically,
Unfortunately, I fucking do.
Yeah. All of those series apparently like Shortland Street, but specifically Coronation Street. You do wonder how the fuck did they across 50 years or whatever that it's been on? Because my nana used to watch it. My dad's mom loved Coronation Street.
I grew up watching it, dude. Even the song was like depressing.
Yeah, and that black
like,
cat.
what are you doing watching this shit? Like with a depressing fucking theme tune.
Yeah, that black cat was like that's been immortalized because he's just on that fucking on that retaining wall.
These horrible, disgusting looking like houses.
And like the house
that I used to live in.
And it's a vibe. But apparently, like you do wonder, like how the fuck across 50 years do they keep coming up with stories and storylines? They would go down to the local courts. The writers would go to the local courts. They would listen to the stories and be like, yeah, that sounds fucking cool. That sounds interesting. This is people's lives, like, and then they would write it into the story. They would write down what happened in the court case and they would write it up. And those would become stories. So for decades, they were just going down to the local courts. Oh, okay, so he cheated on his wife and then she cheated on him.
And so he killed her.
Yeah, and then they both slept with the person. They cheated on each other with the same person and they had a threesome and then one killed the other.
There was an STI involved.
Yeah.
And a cat.
Yeah, and then one coughed on the other and then the Omicron happened. So like, yeah, it's just, it's fucking wild. Like,
yeah, coronation sucks. I agree. And Carl's a hero. Carl's a hero. He went across state lines. New headline. Carl Rittenhouse goes across state lines. Undercover as a 12-year-old girl. He has his own Chris Hansen sting operation. He's been inspired by Chris for decades. We've all seen To Catch a Predator. Apparently, but no one in fucking New Zealand. I like a decent.
That was such a good show.
Chris Hansen joke.
If if you really want to like, there's such a good series. There's a guy called Mr. Gigi. He's got a the Predator Chronicles, and where he basically like comments on To Catch a Predator, and it's so fucking funny.
Love it.
So yeah,
Sounds fun. Yeah, so Carl Rittenhouse, what do you call it? Goes undercover. Over state lines as a 12-year-old girl to catch
To Catch a Predator. Yeah,
to catch a predator.
you know what'd be
And
funny?
you know what? You fucking did.
You know what'd be funny is like an edit of To Cap a Predator, and it's like it's Carl Rittenhouse with the rifle.
Yeah.
You know.
Man, it would have been such a different. No, he would have gone. He would have gone away though.
Yeah,
He would have gone away.
I don't really support anybody in that. I don't support anybody in that whole thing. I mean,
That's
I
not
think-
what this podcast sort of precludes to.
Yeah, no, he's an American hero. He's the Kenosha Kid.
There hasn't been a man like him since. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a long time.
It's been like a month.
Yeah. In a long time.
Oh.
Since just sort of fluttered out.
But there is something to be said about the whole like defunding of the police. And then a guy decides to police his neighborhood, and they're like, "You can't do that."
Talking about cow stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've just had enough of these.
Have you seen his sister?
These blacks.
There's his sister.
No, she's sexy.
Yeah.
Not bad.
She was. I don't know if it was a sister or his girlfriend or something. There was a girl specific. I think it was a sister who was at the trial, and then like all the media was like, "Oh my god, his sister's really fucking hot."
Hey, so look, the people who killed, were they black?
No, they were all white.
Oh shit. I know nothing about this case, dude.
Oh, when
I
did you
just
see
I
it?
just assumed they were black because like the uproar.
No. So they were all white. Basically, what happened was this
Why are they
kid,
calling him the white OJ then?
because OJ they think got away with murder,
Yeah.
which I mean,
I understand. I understand the OJ thing. You love a underdog story.
Yeah, I do love an underdog story.
You always back the
I just oppositional
alleged.
Yeah,
You love the alleged.
I just oppositional behavior, man. I got ADHD. I just fucking love a good fucking underdog.
Even if they were fucking children, and I love that about you. Yeah, you don't define a man by his actions.
No, so what happened was this guy, kid comes along with a rifle. 3 dudes start attacking him, and then one tries to pull the rifle off him, and that's when he starts shooting. And he's on the ground getting hit by a skateboard.
You're gonna get trigger itchy.
You're gonna get trigger itchy.
You're gonna get itchy trigger finger.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. I'm learning a lot, and so Carl's gonna go. Sweet.
Carl's gonna go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Carl's our boy.
Well, that case got so much fucking media attention. And
Right.
then, like Ghislaine Maxwell, who arguably is infinitely worse,
Right.
is getting no media coverage at all.
I want to learn more about it. Tell me.
Well, she was the right-hand man of Jeffrey Epstein. You know?
She did all this texting.
Yeah. And she
Right-handed
apparently, yeah, fuck.
Terrible.
Yeah, she was the one that was whacking off. And apparently molested a lot of people, and then but nothing, no coverage.
Oh, interesting. So that was revealed somehow.
Yeah, so everyone reckons she's probably going to get off. And they're only charging her for incidents alleged between 1996 and 1998.
It's a good year.
Something like that.
The raping years.
The raping years.
They will call it in future to come.
Listen, she's an all-American. She's been raping all this whole time.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, but yeah. So they reckon there's like a lot of people, important people, who are not exactly pleased that this has gotten to trial. I don't think they would get away with it twice. Oh, she committed suicide. Oh, she hung herself.
Right.
So
what's going to happen to her? She's just going to get off.
Probably going to get off.
Yeah.
They'll be like, Ghislaine Maxwell on account of, in the face of overwhelming evidence that she was a rapist and human sex trafficker.
What's that fucking
Not
law?
guilty. Yeah.
What's that law where it's like, you can have no evidence taken from the wife? It's like the wife is like the doctor. It's inconceivable. Or inconceivable is not the word.
Shit. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
You know what I'm talking about, and so do the viewers.
Yeah, you can't testify against your spouse.
You can't testify against your spouse.
Yeah, it's not the Fifth Amendment. Dude, one of the funniest, like, it's in a
Yeah,
cartoon called Inside Job, and this guy's on the stand, and he's like this alligator guy, and he's just like, I plead the Fifth.
I love that movie.
Yeah, because the Fifth Amendment is like you can't incriminate yourself. So basically, what happens if they ask you some shit, you don't want to answer, you say, I plead the Fifth. Right? And he goes, I plead the Fifth. And the second, and he pulls out a shotgun and just starts like blasting all these lizard people. It's fucking fun.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, so
It's very funny.
yeah,
I didn't realize there were like too many jokes in that movie.
yeah. I mean, it's a lot, you know.
Denzel, right?
Not quite. I don't think so. This one was a cartoon.
Oh, okay. It was a fuckery from the Inside Job.
Oh.
The Inside Job?
Yeah, it's called Inside Job. It's like a cartoon.
Oh, that cartoon. I got 2 episodes in. I'm like, this isn't for me.
No, fair enough.
And it's funny, dude. It's very funny.
It's funny.
It's like a female Rick Sanchez.
Yeah,
Who's a bit more straight laced.
That's a lot. That's exactly what she's like. That's true.
But don't know why it wasn't for me. I feel like it was a bit too slapsticky.
Yeah, it's quite slapsticky.
But not taking away from it. It's very good. But there was also probably a lot of jokes that I just wouldn't really understand. Some bit of dumbass. Like you know Archer. It took me a couple of rounds of Archer for me to actually like get into it. Even with like a lot of the jokes now, I still don't fucking get them. They're very referential. You know?
Yeah.
They're very specific.
Yeah.
Very specific. You know who wasn't happy about you texting during the pause?
Who?
Red.
Red?
He's Red.
Oh, Red.
He's like, why is Jimmy texting during the pause? And I'm like, I fucking agree.
Yeah, no, it's a bit. Yeah, no, sometimes she comes up and I'm just like, these fucking people in my life.
He's a popular man on Jimmy. He's a popular
people
man.
are trying to reach me constantly and I'm in the void. Yeah.
He's got a good member on him, I imagine. I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
but you know, listen, the hose.
The hose.
They're thirsty.
Hose be hose. That's not the same.
I'm an endless wellspring of thirst. But yeah, no, look, listen, life's a fucking horror.
Cool.
You know? Ghislaine Maxwell's probably gonna get off. Rick and Morty's gonna be cancelled.
No.
And you know, like,
but it cancelled? Do you think so?
No, probably.
No,
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's funny. Was it you and I talking about this? It was going to revert back round. I think there's maybe a podcast I was listening to where they're talking about how cancel culture there's a revival in place.
Right.
Where things are going to go back to the good old days.
We're going to be calling each other retards very soon.
Hell yeah, we are, man.
Yeah.
The age of retard is upon us.
Yeah, and it's going to go way the other way too. We start just calling each other slurs, and then we're going to get very woke again.
It's weird because I was like watching. Have you seen Lock and Key?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Very anti-fragile.
Yeah.
Very like they're like in the second episode, like after it might even be the first episode. You'll remember this part. She goes to the ice cream place.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I fucking know you, the black guy. He's like, yeah, I know who you are. And he calls her Rocky Road because of the rocky road she's been on. His dad's just fucking been shot and murdered. and they've been in like this big ordeal with like a shooter running through the house. And he calls her Rocky Road. It's getting back into it. I really respected that. I was shocked when I saw that scene. I'm like, Jesus, that's fucking high hitting.
That's fucking funny as shit.
It's brilliant, man. Brilliant. I'm like, cool, like we're coming back.
We're coming back.
To normal.
We're coming back.
We're gonna be retards, we're gonna be lesbians, we're gonna be gay. I want gay to be back. I really want it to start becoming part of my vocabulary again.
Yeah. I
was at work.
Yeah.
I was at work and I had this real fucking gay moment. I was like, I think I might have said this before on the pod, but like there's like 4 customers out on the road. You have to remember all their fucking coffees and all their orders and like the coupon things. The drinks and the food are like separated for some reason, for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, like fucking this goes to that guy, this goes to that guy. I'm like, this is the brown guy.
Yeah.
Because he was brown. His skin was brown.
Yeah.
And she goes, my fellow employee. What do you mean brown? I'm like, the brown guy.
Mm.
And she's like, you can't say that.
He's the only one in here.
I want to say it
Yeah,
because yeah, it's a little funny to me.
it's quite funny.
Yeah, it's a little bit funny.
It's funny. It's like when did we start kind of giving each other shit?
Yeah, glasses on.
It's because here's the thing too, because people like you give each other shit when you're comfortable with each other.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
that's a way of that's a form of affection. Being like, hey, don't fucking stump it, you know. And it's like your friend's like 5'4" or something.
I love
You
calling
know?
my friends fags. I love calling them dickheads, idiots.
Yeah. How you doing, Tiny?
Thanks.
Your friend's 350 fucking pounds, and you're calling him tiny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, but it's like, but have you noticed that the more woke things have got, the less kind things have gotten, like the less affectionate things, but the less connection there really is with people.
Yes, that's right. Like,
Yeah.
I would like to say a good buddy at work called Mitch, and I offend him a lot. I know I do because I come at it. I'm like, hey, you fucking dumbass. Oh, I call him a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And like there's always this little pause, and there's nothing that comes back.
Yeah.
Nothing that comes back my way. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I can't give you shit. I want to give you shit.
Yeah.
Because I love you.
Yeah. Exactly. I love you. Let me suck your dick and call you a fucking homo.
That's right.
You know?
I want to back in there. Well, calling you a pussy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what? You too gay? What? You too gay to fuck a guy?
Yeah, what's that, a dick?
You fucking pussy?
It's like a
What?
pencil.
Well, you're not gonna sodomize another man? Fuck
Nah,
you. You know? I had a
I want
friend.
to fondle.
Yeah. You know, listen, sometimes you just need another man. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But I had a friend that in high school who's just like, stop using gay as a synonym for shitty. And I'm like, gay is a synonym for so many things, you know?
I'm sorry that you went through school like that, dude.
No,
We were just you and I just a year or two like separated.
Yeah.
But gay was all the way through, man.
Gay was all the way through.
But you know what? In the last couple of years, it was like, are we allowed to say gay anymore?
Yeah, right.
But it was just such a guysy school
Yeah.
that it was like it was okay. But like there were a few people who were like, like we're still bullying. You know, like we still, you know, we're still, you know, sucking each other off in the corridor. You know?
Listen, you know, in the
gym,
the bathrooms.
Before school.
You know,
you get a kid from your teacher, you know, you tell them you're gonna go for a workout and you get the boys round. Yeah.
And the boys, it's a circle, you know, very inclusive shape. And she didn't even know I was half gay. I was like, I'm not saying it to oppress people. I'm saying it because it's fucking funny.
The human centipede was a different thing in my time.
You know, it's funny. It's all like our church would be like, oh, you can't say that. I'm like, back in my day, you could suck a guy off and call him a fag, you know? People like too fucking sensitive, you know?
Oh,
yeah.
You kids.
Yeah, you fucking kids.
Let's leave it there. Yes.
Good on everybody.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.